Alright, so you want to build a website with Python, but the idea of starting from scratch is kind of intimidating? Let me introduce you to Django. Django is a Python framework that makes it way easier to create websites. Instead of worrying about all the nitty-gritty details, you get to focus on what your site actually does. What's cool about Django is its emphasis on reusability. There's this principle called dry, don't repeat yourself. Basically, Django gives you a ton of built-in features like login systems, database connections, and those classic CRUD operations. Create, read, update, delete. So if your website needs to work with a database, and let's be honest, most do, Django has your back. So how does it work? Django uses something called the MVT design pattern. That stands for Model View Template. Let me break that down. The model is all about your data. Picture the stuff you want to show on your website. It usually lives in a database. Django delivers this data using something called ORM, or Object Relational Mapping. Instead of writing complicated SQL, you work with Python objects in your models.py file, and Django handles the database for you. Next up, the view. Think of the view as a middleman. It takes a web request from a user, grabs whatever data it needs from your model, and figures out what to show. All that logic is right there in views.py. Then, there's the template. This is where you decide what your page actually looks like. It's usually an HTML file, but with some Django magic mixed in, like tags that let you add logic right into your layout. For example, you might have something like, templates live in a folder called templates. Simple, right? Now how do you get from one page to another? That's where URLs come in. Django matches the URL that a user requests to a specific view using a file called urls.py. When you click a link or type in an address, Django decides which view to send you to. So, here's what happens when someone visits your Django site. The browser requests a URL. Django checks urls.py, finds the right view, which gets data from models.py, then sends everything to a template, and finally returns a finished web page back to the browser. Of course, Django does a whole lot more, but this is the core workflow you'll learn as a beginner. A quick bit of history. Django was invented back in 2003 by a team at the Lawrence Journal World newspaper. They needed to move fast and meet the needs of pro developers, so they built Django. The first public release was in 2005, and as of now, the latest version is Django 4, 0.3. So if you're just starting out with Python and want to build web applications, Django is a fantastic place to begin. Stick around and I'll show you how to get your first Django site up and running.